Making music is definitely a labor of love, but let's be real. We all want to make a living from our art. That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to support our lifestyle, support our families with our art. The good news is there's more opportunities than ever before to change your passion and your art into money, into a profitable career. From streaming royalties to sync licensing, merchandise sales, there's plenty of ways to earn money from our music. So in this video, I wanted to show you some of the ways that you can monetize your art, monetize your music. You could be a longtime veteran of this industry, maybe just use this as a checklist, like, yeah, I'm doing that already, or maybe I didn't do it that way. Or you're new, you're a rookie to this business and you want to know, how am I going to make money? This video is for you. Let's go. It's important to understand the music business landscape itself. The music industry is complex and it's always evolving. As independent artists, as most of us are, it's essential to stay up to date on the latest trends and industry news to see how things are working on the monetization side. Here's a few key concepts to keep in mind. Understanding copyright law is essential for protecting your intellectual property and when you're earning royalties. Music publishing. I have another video, I'll post a link here, all about music publishing and all the different royalties that you can earn as a music creator. But you need to understand what's involved with music publishing and the administration of your music and your music catalog, including licensing, royalty collection, and song placement. Forming rights organizations or pros and what they're responsible for. These companies are very instrumental in helping you collect and monetize your music. You need to understand distribution platforms. The way that music is distributed now is mostly through streaming, and the aggregators and the distributors that help you put it on the digital platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon. It's pretty much essential for us as music creators to be on all of these services. You need to learn the trends of how that's working, and you need to know how to get paid and where to get paid from. You know, a lot of people complain, streaming doesn't pay anything, but I'm actually positive. I love the whole streaming era of music. I was doing music in the era of buying CDs, and we would make, as a record label, we were wholesaling our CDs to, you know, the Tower Records and the Virgin and all. We would make $6 to $7 per CD wholesale, and I remember they would retail for $12 to $14, and yeah, that's a huge difference in margin, $6-7 as opposed to 0.005 cents per stream. But people don't buy the album over and over again, and it's going to take some time. But once people are streaming your music, they keep streaming your music, and it'll be for years and years and years. And that's a consistent amount of revenue that's coming in every year, and that adds up. CD is a one-time buy, vinyl is a one-time buy. Streaming keeps going, especially if you get one of your songs into a bigger editorial playlist on Spotify or Apple. Those songs are getting millions of streams over and over and over again, and that adds up. Another way to monetize is sync licensing, and sync licensing involves when your music gets used in TV or shows or films, commercials, games, all kinds of media, and you get paid in multiple ways when you license your songs for these services. It can be a lucrative source of income. I've done a couple in my career, and I've known of other independent artists who have gotten their songs on huge national commercials, and the upfront fee was like $80,000, and they're still making money on it 10 years later because the corporation ended up using their song again in a different commercial, another campaign that they ran. So it's a super lucrative area. I know a bunch of musicians that make their living specifically doing sync licensing. Another way to monetize is merchandise sales, merch. Selling merch like t-shirts, posters, or other items can be a great way to supplement your income. It would be really hard to find an independent artist out today that does not have some kind of Shopify or big cartel hosting a website that has merch. If you're an indie artist, please don't miss out on these opportunities. It's a great way to not only make your brand look legit, but it's also a way to supplement your income. Even if you're only selling, 5 pieces a week or 5 pieces even a month, it's a way over time to build your brand and actually build your bottom line. It's a way to monetize your brand and your music. Another way to monetize is crowdfunding. Platforms like Kickstarter, Patreon. These are huge. I see a lot of independent artists using Patreon, and these are for creators that have that special fan base that's willing to pay a little premium to be a part of behind the scenes or be a part of getting the song first before the general public. And if you play these platforms correct, there can be game changers for you in terms of your bottom line. Live performances, gigging, man, that's remains to be one of the most popular ways for musicians to earn money. Most of us gig, most of us indie artists gig. And if you're not, you should be, for so many reasons. For the money, for one, and for two, it keeps you on your game, keeps you, if you're a singer or if you're a guitar player, piano player, whatever you do, it keeps you on your toes, it keeps you sharp. There is a balance though. I had to pull back a lot of my live performances because it started to take away from my main love, which is creating music. And by the time I was done gigging, maybe for the week, I was too drained, too tired to get in there and produce and write and arrange. So you have to find that happy balance, the happy medium of gigging and studio work and production. But you'll find it, you know, just be aware of it. Definitely live performances, you can make a lot of money. And if you do it right. I know most of you do this, but don't be too shy, or don't be too, you know, don't let your ego get in the way of putting a tip jar out there, and it adds up. Even if it's like, I'm not gonna say an amount, but it adds up over time in the year when you count it. And again, it goes back to me making sure you keep track of these things, because you want to go back and go at the end of the year and go, oh wow, dang, I made $3,000 in tips. You know, it felt like $15 a night, 40 here, but at the end of the year, I'm like, whoa, you know, maybe I made $3,000 in tips, and then that's like your mortgage for a month, or, you know, I don't know what house you live in, but that can be your food for the whole year, really. So it adds up. Don't let your ego get in the way. Put a tip jar out. Here, don't be shy. Look at this. Here's what we do. So I put a green LED light blinking inside. Nice and clear bucket. And you gotta prep the tip jar. So I put a 10, a 5, and 2 1s. And you'll be surprised. This prompts people to be like, oh, okay, I see somebody has done a 10, 20. For some reason, $20 bills don't work. That's like, I mean, try it. Depends where you are, maybe. But this seems to work best. 10, 5, and 2 1s. People are like, okay, cool. I'll leave a 5. I'll leave a 10. I'll leave a couple 1s, whatever it is. And sometimes what we do is I have a bunch of old CDs that our first CD, and I'll put a sign and say, leave a 10, take a CD. And you'll be surprised how many people do it. So don't be shy, you know, get creative with your tip bucket. Also make sure that you put it in a high traffic area where they're walking. Don't make it in a spot where it's hard for them to get to. It can even be on the way out if someone's watching it. Make it in an area that's visible, that's easily accessible for them to go and give you some money. But yeah, that's our, it's like a random blink. Okay, but don't you want to like leave a tip now? I mean, you could even put, you know, your band stickers on it. You can, whatever, write it, but just make sure it's big, it's visible. It took me a while, but just don't be shy about it. Like, people want to, if you give them a good time, they want to say thank you. They want to give you money, and if they're prompted to, they're more willing to do it. And don't be scared to be on the mic and say, hey, let's if you like what you're hearing, you know, put some money. It always works. Leave a 5, take some stickers. Leave a 10, take a shirt, whatever it is, you know, people, it's always gonna happen. Another thing you can do, I've seen, is people put you know, their QR code. They might not have cash on them, but they'll put their QR code that leads to their Venmo or their PayPal. People love to tip, and it's a great way to get email addresses, to build your email database for marketing. And that's gonna be a whole nother video, but email is not dead. Email is still strong. It's one of the most strongest marketing techniques still. Making sure that you stay organized, keeping track of what you're doing, like we talked about, that's important to monetizing your music career. You have to keep track of your music catalog, your royalties, expenses. You're not really monetizing if you can't keep track of these things, or you don't even know what your profit was. You don't know what you're making. So keep good records, or hire somebody to help you keep good records to understand and give you at any time a snapshot of where you're at. You know, how much money have you made? Where are we at? What's our goals? How much have we beat the goals by? How much did we miss it by? I'm a huge stickler on this because if you can't track it, then you can't measure it. If you can't measure it, you're moving backwards. And if you set a goal like, I want to make this much money in music, how do you know if you hit that goal or not if you're not keeping track of it? You know, you could be like, I want to make 6 figures doing music as an independent artist. And, you know, at the end of the year, you just feel bummed. You feel, I didn't do it, but maybe you did. You didn't even keep track of it. Maybe all those tips added up. Maybe those shirts that you sold, maybe the tips that you got from Venmo and PayPal all added up to be 6 figures. Imagine that win you're missing. You could celebrate like, whoa, yo, I did it. I set out to do 6 figures as an independent artist and I did it. If you're not measuring and you're not tracking, you might have hit it and you didn't even know. And you got to stay organized to track these kind of things. Be it a worksheet, be it a little brown bag, whatever, write it down, stay organized. It's crucial for you as an artist or a musician to keep organized and keep your books right, especially if you're, you know, a leader of a band and you have to pay out people. Some easy ways to stay organized, you know, use digital tools, spreadsheets, find what works for you. Stay analog, be digital, whatever, but do it. That's the main thing. Keep track. I personally use Google Docs. I've been using Google Docs forever, not only in my music career, but I'm also an entrepreneur and I have a couple other businesses. So I have separate Google Docs and separate folders and everything, and everything's in the cloud, and I keep track of everything and I'm able to access it, get snapshots of everything, from personal finances to company finances, and I'm able to share it with the proper people. So I'm a huge fan of Google Docs, and they're always updating it and making it easier to use and better to use, and it's free. Why not? But again, by staying organized, you can make sure that you're getting everything that you deserve. Monetizing your music is all about diversifying your income streams and creating multiple revenue streams. We're not gonna make it just living from gig to gig. It's not gonna work that way. You have to learn how to monetize all the different avenues of what is offered to us as independent artists. There's so many different ways, and a lot of those ways are passive. So while we're sleeping, while we're gigging, we're still getting the money from the passive areas. You just have to set these streams up. You have to do it. If you're just playing gig to gig and expecting to make a living just off the money from gigs, you're gonna burn out. I see it all the time. You're just gonna burn out and it's not fun. So make sure that you set up these different multiple streams of income. Remember to take advantage of all the available platforms and tools that are offered to us. And hopefully in this video, you got a couple of them. And you know, keep an eye on the industry and the way industry trends. It's changing every day. And stay on the game because there's so many cool different ways to monetize our art. It takes hard work, dedication, and a bit of creativity. With the right mindset and strategies, you can turn your passion for music into an actual sustainable career. We can do it. I've done it. I know many people who've done it, and you can do it too. So I hope you found at least a few of these tips helpful. And if it's something you've never heard before, I hope you implement it and actually do it. If it's something you've heard before, I hope you're doing it already, or maybe you found a better way to do it, or you haven't checked up on it. I don't know. I hope this helped you. That's the only reason I'm making these videos, is because I've seen a video like this and it helped me, and I'm hoping to pay it forward and help you. Now I want to hear from you. So leave a comment down below, something that has changed your life in terms of how to monetize your music career. Maybe it's a different way to display your tip jar. You know, maybe it's a cool app that you found that helps you collect your royalties. I don't know. Share something below. Let us all know. And I will see you for all things music on the next video. All right, guys, take care.